stop. Before you fly your DJI Neo one more time, you need to see this. I just discovered 8 hidden features that turned my $200 drone into what feels like a $1,000 setup, and I'm about to show you every single one. Here's the thing. DJI buried these features so deep in the menus that 95% of Neo owners have no idea they exist. And I'm not talking about basic stuff you can find in the manual. I'm talking about creative techniques that content creators are using right now to create footage that looks like it was shot with equipment costing 5 times more. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to record clear audio without buying a microphone, how to unlock smooth camera movements that aren't even listed in the settings, and one critical mistake that's making your footage look amateurish, and how to fix it in literally 10 seconds. But here's the catch. You need to watch this in order, because feature number 6 builds on feature number 3, and if you skip ahead, you'll miss the connection. Trust me, stick with me for the next 10 minutes, and your Neo will never be the same. Let's go. Wireless audio recording hack. Alright, secret number 1 is going to blow your mind because it solves a massive problem that every drone creator faces. You're traveling. You want to record yourself talking to the drone for a vlog or tutorial, but you forgot your wireless mic system. Or maybe you're just starting out and don't want to drop $200 on audio equipment yet. Most people would either skip the audio entirely or do that awkward thing where they hold their phone up to their face while the drone films them, which looks absolutely ridiculous and screams amateur hour. But here's what the pros aren't telling you. Your DJI Neo can record audio from any Bluetooth earbuds with a built-in microphone through the DJI Fly app. I'm talking AirPods, Galaxy Buds, or even those $20 wireless earbuds from Amazon. Here's the setup. Open your DJI Fly app, connect your earbuds to your phone via Bluetooth, and here's the magic part. Put your phone in your pocket or bag. The app stays open in the background, the app records your audio through the earbuds microphone, and you can walk around, gesture naturally, and look like you're actually talking to a camera crew instead of yourself. The audio quality is surprisingly good for what it is. It won't match a dedicated wireless microphone system, but for casual vlogs, tutorials, and social media content, it's absolutely usable and sounds far better than the Neo's onboard microphone alone. Plus, you're probably already carrying earbuds anyway, so this is literally a $0 upgrade to your setup. One critical tip though, before you start recording, go into your app settings and disable gesture control and voice control temporarily. Otherwise, you might accidentally trigger the drone to land or change positions while you're waving your hands around explaining something. Trust me, I learned that one the hard way when my Neo suddenly decided to fly away mid-sentence because I made a swooping hand gesture. Voice command mastery. Now, while we're talking about using your earbuds, let's jump straight into secret number 2, which takes this whole wireless setup to the next level. You can actually control your Neo using voice commands through the DJI Fly app while your phone is tucked away. This is a complete game changer for solo creators because it means you can trigger certain automated movements and adjust settings without ever touching a controller or looking at a screen. Here's how it works. With your earbuds connected and the app running in your pocket, you can use voice control features within the app to trigger specific flight modes and movements. The DJI Neo supports basics. Voice commands when connected through the app, allowing you to initiate tracking modes and position changes. The command recognition works best in quiet environments, and you'll want to speak clearly at a normal volume. But here's where it gets really powerful. You can activate these voice features to switch between different intelligent flight modes without any manual input. Imagine you're hiking up a mountain trail. You launch the drone, put your phone away, and then as you're walking, you can trigger follow mode, adjust tracking behavior, and change the drone's relative position, all while you're naturally moving and exploring. The footage looks completely organic because you're not stopping every 20 seconds to adjust a controller. You're just living the moment while the drone captures it all. One insider trick: familiarize yourself with the voice control options in the DJI Fly app settings before your flight. The voice recognition works within certain limitations, and understanding which commands are available will help you get better results. I keep a note in my phone with my available voice control options, so I don't forget them mid-shoot. This single feature has streamlined my filming workflow because I'm not constantly landing, adjusting, and relaunching. I'm just flowing through the shoot naturally, and the results speak for themselves. Seamless control switching. All right, secret number 3 is all about flexibility and efficiency. And once you understand this, you'll wonder why DJI doesn't advertise it more prominently. Most people think that when you launch the Neo, you're locked into whatever control method you started with, whether that's drone-only mode, app control, or RC controller. While there are some limitations, you can actually transition between these modes during flight with proper technique. The Neo allows you to switch control methods while it's airborne by following the right sequence. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Right now, I've got the drone hovering in front of me in gesture-only mode. I'm not touching any controllers or apps. The drone is just sitting there waiting for hand signals. Now I'm going to open the DJI Fly app on my phone and watch what happens. Once the app connects, you can take control from gesture mode by initiating app control. I can now use my phone screen to adjust altitude, change the angle, switch between different tracking modes, whatever I need. You can also connect an RC controller during flight. Let's say I want precise manual control for a technical shot. I can grab my RCN3 or other compatible controller, power it on, wait for it to connect, and the drone can respond to controller inputs. The key is understanding that the Neo prioritizes active control inputs. So, when you start using the controller, it takes over from the app. This transition isn't always instantaneous and may require you to be in certain flight modes. So, it's worth practicing this at low altitude in an open area first. Here's where this becomes useful. Imagine you're filming a wedding or event. You start with gesture mode for a quick selfie with the couple, switch to app mode to frame a wide establishing shot, then grab your controller for a smooth manual adjustment during key moments. While this requires some planning and isn't quite as seamless as one continuous automated flight, you're still saving battery compared to multiple takeoffs and landings, and you're not missing critical moments while you fumble with equipment. The Neo is designed to accept control inputs from different sources, but the smoothest workflow is to plan which control method you'll use for each shot beforehand. This way you're maximizing efficiency instead of constantly switching mid-flight. This is honestly one of the most flexible features of the Neo, and it's the reason I can shoot a variety of shots with just this one tiny drone instead of bringing my whole fleet. Creative camera movement techniques. Now let's talk about secret number 4, which is for anyone who's ever looked at cinematic drone footage and thought, man, I wish I could get that look with my Neo. I've got fantastic news for you. The Neo can create really dynamic-looking footage through creative flying techniques and specific settings adjustments, even though it has a one-axis stabilized camera rather than a full 3-axis gimbal. Here's the deal. Unlike higher-end drones with 3-axis gimbals, the Neo uses electronic image stabilization combined with a one-axis mechanical gimbal. This means the camera can tilt up and down, but roll and pitch stabilization is handled electronically. However, you can still create engaging dynamic movements by understanding how to fly the drone to create intentional camera motion. When you bank the Neo into turns using manual flight mode with the RC controller, you can create smooth, flowing movements that give your footage energy and visual interest. I'm going to demonstrate this right now. I'm flying toward those trees over there, and I'm going to initiate a smooth, controlled turn. By combining manual stick control with the Neo's flight characteristics, you can create really cinematic arcing movements that make the viewer feel like they're seeing dynamic, intentional camera work instead of just watching footage from a stationary hovering drone. The key is smooth, deliberate inputs on the controller rather than jerky movements. Now, the Neo won't give you true FPV-style aggressive banking like a dedicated FPV drone or a drone with full gimbal tilt control, but what you can do is use creative flight paths, altitude changes, and speed variations to create visual interest. For example, flying low and fast through a scene, then pulling up and slowing down creates a dramatic reveal. Orbiting a subject while gradually gaining altitude gives you a rising spiral shot. These are all techniques you can achieve by mastering the controller and understanding the Neo's flight envelope. One important note, these techniques work best when you're flying with the RC controller because you have precise control over the drone's movements. You can still get smooth footage using the app, but manual controller flight gives you the most creative control. Also, always fly smoothly and deliberately. Jerky movements will be visible in your footage and can make viewers uncomfortable. When used strategically, though, creative manual flying can make your content look far more professional than just using automated modes alone. Focus track customization. Secret number 5 is going to completely revolutionize how you use the Neo's subject tracking features. If you've used the tracking modes before, you know they're incredibly convenient. You select yourself or a subject on the screen, the drone locks onto it, follow or orbit around you. But here's what most people don't realize. You have control over how the drone positions itself during these tracking modes through the settings menu. Let me explain how this works. When you activate tracking modes like follow or orbit, the drone maintains certain distances and angles relative to your subject. Most people accept the default behavior, thinking these parameters are fixed. Not entirely true. If you dive into the settings within the DJI Fly app, you'll discover options that let you adjust tracking behavior, including follow distance and movement speed. While the Neo doesn't have the same extensive customization as higher-end DJI drones with their full focus track feature sets, you can still adjust key parameters to better suit your needs. The tracking distance and altitude can be influenced by how you initially position the drone before activating tracking, and by using the on-screen interface during tracking to adjust the drone's position. Think about the creative possibilities here. Let's say you're filming yourself mountain biking. You could position the drone close and low for an intense, close-up follow cam by setting it up that way before activating follow mode. Then you could manually adjust during flight to a wider, higher position for a dramatic wide shot that shows the entire landscape. For different activities, you'll want different tracking behaviors. If you're filming a fast-moving subject like a car or motorcycle, you'll need to position the drone farther back and higher to keep the subject in frame at higher speeds. The Neo's tracking algorithms work best when the subject is clearly visible, and you've given the drone enough space to maneuver. I've used this for filming vehicles on open roads, and being able to pre-position the drone appropriately means I can capture the entire scene, the vehicle in motion, the environment, and the sense of speed, all while keeping the subject perfectly tracked in the eye frame. Here's my personal workflow. Before I even leave the house for a shoot, I think about what kind of shots I want, and I plan how I'll position the drone for each tracking scenario. If I'm filming a hiking video, I'll start with tight, low positioning for intimacy. If I'm shooting a landscape exploration, I'll position higher and farther for epic scale. This planning saves me probably 30 minutes of mid-flight adjustments, and the consistency of having thought-out shot compositions makes my editing process so much smoother. Audio sync professional trick. Now, secret number 6 might sound technical, but stay with me because this is the difference between amateur content and professional content, and it takes literally 2 seconds to implement. When you're recording audio separately from your video, which you're doing if you're using that wireless earbud trick from secret number 1, you need a way to synchronize your audio track with your video footage and editing. If they're even slightly out of sync, your viewers will notice, and it looks terrible. Professional filmmakers use something called a clapperboard, which creates both a visual and audio spike that makes syncing easy. You've seen these on movie sets. Someone claps the board together and says, "Scene 1, take 1." But you don't need a $100 clapperboard. You've got something better: your hands. Before you start recording any piece of dialogue or narration, do a sharp, loud clap directly in front of the camera where the drone can see it. Make it visible and audible. That clap creates a visual marker in your video footage, the frame where your hands meet, and an audio spike in both your drone's video file and your separate audio recording from your phone. Now, when you import everything into your editing software, whether that's Adobe Premiere, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, or even free options like CapCut, you can visually line up that clap. You expand your audio waveforms, find the sharp spike from the clap sound, and align it with the exact frame where your hands come together in the video. Once that single point is synced, everything else before and after it will be perfectly synchronized because both tracks are running at the same speed. This works even if your phone's audio recorder and the drone's video recorder have slightly different start times. The clap gives you a reference point to anchor everything. I cannot tell you how much time this saves in editing. Before I started using this technique, I would spend 20 minutes scrubbing through timelines, moving audio tracks back and forth by individual frames, trying to get dialogue to match lip movements. Now, it takes me 15 seconds per clip. Clap, align, done. And here's a bonus tip. If you're recording multiple takes of the same shot, do a clap at the beginning of each take. That way, when you're organizing your footage later, you can quickly identify and sync each take independently without getting confused about which audio belongs to which video. Video quality optimization. All right, we're at secret number 7, and this one is critical because it affects the actual image quality of every single shot you take. The DJI Neo offers different camera settings that can significantly impact your final footage quality, including resolution, frame rate, and color profile options. Understanding these settings means capturing footage that looks richer, more dimensional, and significantly more professional. Let me break down the optimal settings because DJI doesn't make this obvious. The Neo can shoot up to 4K at 30 frames per second or 1080p at 60 frames per second. For maximum image quality, you want to shoot in 4K whenever possible because it captures more detail and gives you cropping flexibility in post-production. If you need slow motion capability, the 1080p 60 frames per second mode allows you to slow footage to half speed, 30 frames per second playback, while maintaining smooth motion. Now, here's the critical setting most people miss: color profile. The Neo offers different color profiles, with normal mode being the default. Normal mode applies contrast, saturation, and sharpening in camera, which looks good straight out of the drone but gives you less flexibility in color grading. If you plan to color grade your footage in post-production, which you should if you want that professional look, you'll want to experiment with more neutral color profiles if available in your firmware version. These profiles look flat and washed out straight out of the camera, but they preserve more detail in highlights and shadows, giving you maximum flexibility to create your desired look in editing. For exposure control, the Neo allows you to adjust ISO and shutter speed. Here's the best practice. Use the 180-degree shutter rule, which means your shutter speed should be double your frame rate. If you're shooting at 30 frames per second, set your shutter to 60/60th of a second. If shooting at 60 frames per second, use 120/60th. This creates natural motion blur that looks cinematic. Then adjust your ISO to achieve proper exposure. In bright daylight, you might need ND filters to avoid overexposure while maintaining the correct shutter speed. One more critical tip: always enable overexposure warnings in your camera settings. This shows you zebra stripes or highlights on any part of your image that's blown out and losing detail. Blown out highlights can't be recovered in editing, so it's better to slightly underexpose and bring detail back later than to lose highlight information forever. I routinely check my exposure warnings during flights to ensure I'm capturing the best possible image. Settings optimization. Okay, bonus round. Secret number 8 is actually a rapid-fire settings optimization guide that ties all of these secrets together. First, shoot in the highest quality mode your workflow can handle. 4K at 30 frames per second gives you the best image quality for most uses. If you need slow motion, 1080p at 60 frames per second is your friend. The image quality at 4K is noticeably sharper than 1080p, and modern phones and computers can handle 4K editing reasonably well. Second, enable grid lines in your camera view, specifically the rule of thirds grid. This helps you compose better shots on the fly without having to guess. The grid overlay is purely for your reference during filming and won't appear in your final footage. Third, familiarize yourself with the Neo's quick shots modes. These are automated flight patterns like drone, circle, rocket, and helix that can create impressive movements with a single tap. These are perfect for situations where you want a complex movement but don't have time to fly it manually. Fourth, adjust your control sensitivity settings in the app. The default sensitivity might feel too twitchy or too sluggish depending on your preferences. I personally prefer slightly lower sensitivity for smoother, more controlled movements, but higher sensitivity for action sports and fast-paced content. You can adjust these in the control settings within the DJI Fly app. And fifth, always check your battery level before attempting complex shots. The Neo has a flight time of around 17 to 18 minutes in ideal conditions, but aggressive flying, wind, and cold temperatures will reduce this significantly. Never let your battery drop below 20% when you're far from your launch point. Closing. So, there you have it. 8 secrets that most DJI Neo owners will never discover because they're buried in menus, require experimenting with workflows, and honestly aren't always clearly explained by DJI themselves. But now you know. You know how to capture better audio using earbuds, how to use voice control features, how to switch between control methods, how to create dynamic camera movements through skilled flying, how to customize tracking behavior, how to sync audio like a pro, how to optimize your camera settings for maximum quality, and how to fine-tune every setting for better results. Here's my challenge to you. Pick just one of these secrets and go test it today. Don't wait. Don't overthink it. Just grab your Neo, try one thing and see how it changes your footage. Then come back to the comments and tell me which secret made the biggest difference for you. I'm genuinely curious because everyone's shooting style is different. And if you got value from this video, here's what I need from you. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because next week I'm dropping a complete cinematic filming guide for the Neo that covers shot composition, movement techniques, and editing workflows. That video builds directly on what you learned today, so you don't want to miss it. Also, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more creators who need to see it. Until next time, get out there, fly safe, and create something incredible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.